Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you saw the title of this video, you know it's all about the experience I had with doing a 28-day juice fast. And I'm super excited to share the story with you guys. I get questions about this all the time and people are always so amazed to hear that I did it. So yeah, I'm super excited to share with you how it went, what I experienced, and what the results were. I want to quickly say if you're new to this channel, just to give you a breakdown of what my channel is all about, Monday's videos are all about my journey to an 100% authentic life. I've been dealing with some mental and emotional battles like anxiety and depression for a long time, and so I'm sharing my journey of 100% authenticity with you all. And so Thursday's videos, like the one you guys are seeing today, are going to be all about my passion of holistic health. So I share videos about juicing, cleansing, fasting, and raw vegan food. So if that sounds interesting to you guys, make sure you please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell notification. And yeah, let's dive into the video. So to give a little bit of backstory, I did my first juice fast back in January of 2021. And I do talk a little bit more about this too in my water fast video, so make sure you go back and watch that one if you haven't seen it yet. But I essentially just had some really weird health challenges that I was trying to clear up. The main thing that was happening was, it was like so crazy, but I woke up one morning and my whole body from top to bottom, like I was just covered in like this really crazy itching sensation. Like I was just itching all over my body and I was trying everything. I was like taking all these antihistamines and lots of vitamin C and all these different things to try to get it to stop. And it was like, no matter what I did, it just wouldn't stop. And that was really scary. So I kind of dove into the internet and looked further for more information on it. And that's when I discovered juice fasting. Like I mentioned in my water fast video, there's a book I read called Heal Yourself 101 by Marcus Rothkranz, so definitely make sure you check out that book too, and I'll link it down below. But yeah, when I discovered Marcus's protocol for juice fasting, I was like, yeah, I need to try this. And so yeah, I decided to embark on a 3-day water fast followed by a 28-day juice fast. And then some of the other health challenges I was also experiencing at the time were I always used to get these random like stomach aches and headaches all the time, just like totally out of the blue for no reason. Like I would just be, you know, I remember one time I was like at a football game. I used to be on the drum line in college. And I remember one time I was at a football game and I literally just completely just folded over in so much pain because my stomach hurt so badly. And it just hurt for hours and hours afterwards. And I used to experience stomach aches like that all the time to where I just felt like I couldn't even move. I had like really frequent like bladder infections and things like that. I had really heavy menstrual cycles, like just all these different like crazy things going on, to where I thought a juice fast could really be beneficial to me. So just to give you guys kind of a breakdown of every day of the fast, I used to have a super cheap Amazon juicer. Like that was my very first juicer ever. I think it was like maybe like 30 bucks on Amazon. And yeah, what I did every day of the fast was I literally just drank nothing but green juice. I used to actually like stand there and make all of my juices and just drink them on the spot. And yeah, I just did that for the course of the 28 days. And so the first things I started experiencing during the 28 days, like probably about like days like 1 through 3, I really had some pretty challenging detox symptoms. So I had some pretty bad headaches. I felt like pretty lightheaded a lot of the time. Like if I stood up too quickly, I would feel really lightheaded. I just had like mental fog and stuff like that. And yeah, of course it was obviously just challenging not eating for such a long period of time. And so what I did to combat these symptoms were I actually did a ton of colon cleansing, and I did make a video about this if you're interested in that one as well. And like I said, I also mentioned this in my water fast video, but colon cleansing to me is one of the best ways to manage detox symptoms. So thankfully Marcus talks all about it, Heal Yourself 101, and yeah, I was just doing tons of colon cleansing to manage the detox symptoms. And then the next thing I experienced was just craving food. This was hands down the hardest part. And it was kind of crazy because I wouldn't actually really be like hungry, like you know how you get like the physical sensation of hunger and like, you know, your stomach growls and like you feel the pain of hunger. I didn't have any of that. Like I wasn't actually physically hungry, but I just wanted food so badly. Like I would be like looking at pictures of food and looking at recipes and just be so excited about everything that I was gonna be able to eat once the fast was over. And that was hands down the hardest part. I had to avoid watching TV. Like I couldn't watch like the food commercials, or honestly even like watching, if you watch like a TV show and you see the family like sitting down to eat dinner, it was like just absolutely killing me. So I did actually have to stay away from TV quite a bit. But yeah, that was the biggest thing was like just the cravings. Like I just wanted food so badly. And then the last biggest challenge I experienced was definitely the social aspect. So I did this fast in January, and I have done pretty much every subsequent fast in January as well, just to kind of kick off the year. But the biggest challenge with that is my mom's birthday is in January. So I remember when I was doing my 28-day fast, it was kind of funny because my sister and I, because my sister was also fasting with me at the time, we were just sitting there drinking our carrot juice while everyone else at the table was eating steak and potatoes on my mom's birthday. So, and of course, just going out to eat with my friends and stuff like that. Like I pretty much couldn't go out to eat for the entire month of January. So yeah, the social aspect was definitely the next biggest challenge as well. So after the 28 days, definitely the biggest and best results that I experienced were my sleep. Oh my God, I had literally some of the best sleep that I've ever had. I could fall asleep so easily every single night and wake up early every single morning with no problem at all. Like I would just have tons of energy in the morning. My skin cleared up really well. I used to have like some facial and like body acne that I would deal with like on and off quite a bit. And the fast totally cleared all that up. And not only did it get rid of my acne, but my skin was also just brighter and more vibrant. The biggest surprise too was that I had tons of energy. Like my energy was just absolutely through the roof, which, you know, seems kind of counterintuitive because you would think that if you're not eating, and normally food is what gives you energy, you're gonna be like tired and exhausted because you're fasting. But it was completely the opposite. I had tons of energy and I felt like I could just work for hours and just do anything, stay up late if I wanted to. Yeah, just tons of energy. And the cool thing about this too was I noticed that my physical endurance went up a lot. So like I mentioned, my sister and I were fasting together at the time, and we used to go to Orange Theory Fitness, like the really intense workout class where you work out for I think like 50 minutes and it's like a ton of cardio and stuff. And for the first couple of days of the fast, yeah, we were struggling. Like we could barely even, you know, jog on the treadmill. Like we had to go down to walking, which, you know, we never have to power walk. We could pretty much always keep up with the jogging. But then amazingly, after about maybe like the 10th day or so of the fast, it just clicked. And just like that, we had like just insane endurance. Like we could just run forever and lift all the weight and everything like that. So yeah, that was a really cool thing to see too, was like how much my athletic endurance went up. The next thing I experienced was mental calmness and clarity, and this was great too. I was able to concentrate a lot better at work. I was able to just think a lot more clearly, and I just felt more relaxed and just more calm overall in general. And then I'll touch a little bit on weight loss because I think this is one of the biggest things that draws people in about fasting. I personally was not fasting to lose weight, but it is always, of course, going to be like a little extra added benefit of fasting. So on my fast, I started out at about 160 pounds and I ended the fast at 138 pounds. So I lost roughly close to 20 pounds on the fast. And then lastly, and of course most amazingly, and the whole reason I started fasting was my health problems. They all went away and it was like the best thing ever. Like the itching totally went away. I stopped having the random stomach aches and headaches, and I haven't had them since. My menstrual cycles regulated and I stopped having really bad cramps and, you know, all that really other uncomfortable stuff. And yeah, my health was just so much better overall at the end. So I just want to share about a little bit what I would do differently now that it's 4 years later, like if I were to have to do a 28-day juice fast all over again. First, I do want to say though, I highly recommend fasting to everybody, especially if you have illness. And again, I dive a little bit deeper into this in my water fasting video, so I recommend going back and watching that one if you really want the backstory on it. But essentially fasting is great for healing. Like if you have any kind of illness or just any random health problems that you have going on, I highly, highly recommend looking into fasting and giving it a try, as long as you get it cleared with your doctor beforehand. But if you are interested in doing a fast, and like I said, if I could go back 4 years and share to my younger self what I know now, here's some things that I would recommend. The first thing is I would definitely recommend doing batch juicing if at all possible. And if you guys have been following this channel and you watch any of my juicing videos, you know that I recommend that in pretty much all of my juicing videos. And the biggest reason is because it's not really going to be practical for the average person to be having to make juices and drink them on the spot several times a day for 28 days straight, especially if you work or something like that. The only reason I was able to do that is because it was COVID and I was working from home. Like I was working fully remotely at the time. And so I was able to do that because I was home all day. But just even looking back now, I can't believe I put myself through all that extra work. Like I would just never do that now. So I highly recommend making your juices in big batches, and then you'll have them just in the fridge throughout the day and stuff like that, or in the freezer throughout the week. And it's also just going to keep your motivation higher, because what you don't want to happen is for you to get to a day where you need some juice, like, you know, you're hungry and you don't have any made, like you don't have any ingredients, you have to go to the store and you have to do all these other things. Those are the moments where you're more likely to cave in if you don't prepare ahead of time. The next thing I recommend and that I would tell myself is to drink more juice. Like looking back now, I think a big reason that I lost 20 pounds, which to me was probably a little bit much for my weight, like ending at 138 pounds is a little light for me. Like I mentioned, I normally hover around like 160 or 155 even sometimes. And so I think it's because I wasn't drinking enough juice. Like I think I was maybe only drinking about, gosh, maybe like 3 of the little 16-ounce cups that you, like, you know, the little like 16-ounce tumbler cups that you would get at like a brewery or something like that. I was only drinking about 3 of those a day, and that's not nearly enough. Now what I recommend to people is that you drink at least 3 quarts minimum a day, and a quart is 32 ounces, like a big 32-ounce mason jar. and sometimes even up to a gallon. Like, kind of just depends on, you know, like your weights, and if you're looking to not lose too much weight and how many calories you're looking to consume. But yeah, 3 quarts minimum. So that's the biggest thing that I recommend, is to drink enough juice. The next thing that I would do is to honestly just switch up my recipes, because I just kind of, you know, was trying to get through it as easily as possible. And I think I was a little bit intimidated too by trying to explore new recipes, and I was trying to stay on the very straight and narrow of only drinking green juices. And so I pretty much do the same recipe every single day. And that gets boring. That gets very boring over time. And I definitely started to get sick of the juices some days. So that's just another thing, is I would switch up my recipes and maybe, you know, make about like 3 different recipes throughout the week, like I mentioned with the batch juicing, just to have a little bit of variety. And another thing that people tend to get sick of, and I definitely got sick of, was just having like sweet stuff all the time. Like, I very much love like savory and salty food. So that's another thing I would look into, is it's very possible to do savory juices as well. Like, you don't always have to just do fruit and stuff like that. The next thing would be if you work out. You absolutely can work out throughout the fast. That's like another thing that people are like kind of concerned about, like if they're gonna pass out or something like that if they're not eating and they try to work out. And so the only thing I would do differently is I would continue to work out like how I did before, but I would just start slower, because like I said, going straight to Orange Theory and doing this really high intensity workout was just so challenging, and it probably could be a little bit dangerous too, depending on your specific situation. So if you do work out during your fast, just start small. Like, you can just do walking or some light yoga, or just something, you know, pretty low intensity, and then you can work your way up as you feel your endurance start to increase. And then the last thing I would recommend is to just plan ahead when it comes to the social stuff. So go ahead and let your family and friends know that you're gonna be fasting, so they don't try to invite you out to dinner and you have to kind of feel awkward about turning down an invitation. Or if you do decide to go out to dinner with them, and I would do this sometimes, like at fasts that I did after the fast in 2021, if I did get invited to dinner or something, I would just tell people ahead of time, like, oh yeah, that's no problem, I'm just gonna bring juice. Like, I'm not gonna be eating at the restaurant with you, but I'm perfectly fine to just bring juice and we can just hang out, and I don't mind if you eat. So basically just like giving that upfront disclaimer so that you're prepared for the social situations. So that wraps it up for this one, guys. I absolutely love sharing about fasting, and it's something I'm really passionate about. I'm really excited to do my next fast whenever I get finished breastfeeding. So yeah, if you guys are interested in when I might do my next fast, like I said, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I'm sure whenever I do my next fast, I'm gonna put out a video about it, and I would love for you guys to follow along with me. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. I would greatly appreciate it. That helps other people find it if anyone else is interested in fasting. And please also follow me on Instagram, and also too in the comments below, if you guys have any questions, you can either DM me on Instagram or ask in the comments. I know fasting is a really interesting topic for a lot of people. So yeah, if you have any questions, I would love to help answer them for you. And besides that, stay tuned, and I will see you next time.